knowledge of HR assisted me in managing that challenge, meaning challenge of resistance. First, I communicated this innovation. Even before I implemented them, I went around the offices of lecturer, and that's social dialogue. I discussed with them the vision that I wanted to share, because the vision should not be a unilateral decision. It should be a collective decision, which is part of important principle in the human resource management. You know, a leader should not be autocratic. There are different management styles. Each style has when it is suitable. There is no one style that should be applied all the time. So the leadership styles, you know, are situational. Okay? So there are times you may want to apply autocratic style. There are times democratic style will be more suitable. There are times that laissez-faire may be considered. So first, I made sure that I interacted with my colleague, and the rules are clear. The rules of engagement. Okay, how do you teach? What do you teach? How do you allocate courses, and what have you? So with the rules already established, I was able to achieve tremendous progress. And in the process, my interaction with people in the industry also assisted the students, because we were able to get sponsor for some of the programs we organized for students. Okay, so you will recall that some professional bodies like CIPM and NECA. NECA is Nigerian Employers Consultative Association. NECA specifically donated some books to the department. I think you were the president then, and you participated in their program. First, they wrote to us to recommend some students to participate in the program, and I invited you, and I interacted with you, and with your advice then, you suggested the students who should be included in the list, and you guys went and brought back some books. Then after that, you have graduated then another step that followed. That was when NECA wrote us again to propose a mentorship program between practitioners in NECA and the Department of Employment Relations and Human Resource Management. Yeah, I saw that, oh, this is a very good initiative which should be supported. If it were to be someone else, the person may just be like a bicycle, but I understood the significance of industry-university collaboration, and I quickly, sent a memo to the Vice Chancellor to seek approval, because from the knowledge of HR, you cannot interact with the outsider without approval from the larger management or from the higher authority of the system. So we got the approval from the Vice Chancellor, and we kickstarted the program. The program is still running as at now. So to God be the glory. The 2 years I spent as head of department were 2 years of progress, 2 years of development, and 2 years of achievement for students and staff alike. And the record is still there for people to see. So thank you for that question.
You're welcome, sir. From what you'll be able to understand from all that you've said, it means that your experience in this HR field have been able to enable you to make serious managerial decisions effectively, and you'll be able to make impactful progress in the Department of Employment Relations and Human Resource Management. So, sir, while you were answering the question, you made mention of some leadership styles that need to be adopted while managing any organization. Yeah. So that makes me remember while I was your project student, that was my project topic.
Yes, I can remember. Yes.
Leadership style and employee commitment.
Yes.
So and in the process, I've been able to learn some things, and also I was able to inculcate a rigorous process involved in research writing.
Yeah.
So, but if we look at it, sir, students every year they conduct research work.
Yes.
And we have project supervisors that put them through all these processes. So, but are there any time that these student projects have been published in some journals, or their research work is just a means for them to graduate and they are dumped somewhere, or they have some project work that is worthy of being published in journals?
This is a very good question. You know, there are students at different levels. So undergraduate students are not usually interested in publishing the outcome of their research projects. And the many lecturers are skeptical about the authenticity of the project that these undergraduate students have submitted. And it could be dangerous for lecturers to collaborate with the student and publish if the data is found to be faulty later. So from that, many lecturers don't usually want to publish the undergraduate research projects. And the students themselves, many of them are not interested in research. Many of them don't really understand the importance of research. And that explains why they do not give it what it takes. But my own students, of course, you know my style. When I was there, I always encourage my project students to do the right thing. And many of them will not be happy that I was doing that. And in the process, many of them will be talking at the back that Dr. Akinwale is harsh, Dr. Akinwale is strict. And that statement will not make me to change what I believe is right. And I will give them the option of requesting for a change of supervisor if my own style is not convenient for them, because I understand that doing otherwise will be manipulating the system. And I do not encourage that, because the students have come to university to learn and graduate. So giving them opportunity to learn how to carry out a research project is a right step in the right direction. But many of them usually look for shortcuts. And this may be part of the reason why many of them find it difficult to get job. I want to say categorically that being able to carry out a research project correctly will even open doors to career opportunities for many students, because from the research they are conducting, they can discover problem and solution, and they can market that solution. And I always tell my students that they should think of a research that has market value. They should think of the problem in the industry and carry out a research on that problem, so that when they complete the research project, they can even go to that company and knock on the door of the MD or director and discuss that I've studied this problem in this company, sir. These are my findings. These are my recommendations. If you give me a chance, I can interact with your team and they can implement this solution. That way, before they will try 10 places, at least one MD or GM will give them a trial. Right? But to your question, after finishing the research project, what next? Do they get it published or not? And I encourage them to publish their research projects. For the undergraduates, I will say no, because many of them are usually not interested. Your own project is still on the shelf, the copy you gave me. And it is unethical for a lecturer to pick a student's project and put his name and publish it. That's criminal, and I will never do that. Okay? So, and since you have not come back to say, sir, I think I want to publish my work, can you please guide me? And as you have not come back, many undergraduate students too, their own is just to graduate and go. And many of them feel that if you want to do research, it's because you want to be a lecturer. And many of them don't want to be a lecturer. But the other categories of the students from master's degree are more interested in publishing their work. I think in my 20 years of teaching, maybe 2 or 3 of my former master students have come back to ask me if I could show them how to convert their dissertation into an article for publication. And finally, the PhD, for that level, is a must, because majority of the students that come for the PhD are already lecturers, and they need this publication for promotion. So for them, In fact, it is part of the requirement for completion of the PhD program. Meaning, if a PhD research student is unable to publish some articles from the research that they are conducting, it will be difficult for them to complete the PhD program and graduate. So, to answer your question in a sentence now, yes, it's compulsory for PhD research students to convert their thesis into articles and get it published in journals. It's compulsory. So their thesis is not gathering dust on the shelf, because many of them are already lecturing and they need this publication for promotion. But for the undergraduate students, the answer is no. Majority of them are not interested in research because they don't know the importance. A few master students, yes, are trying to publish their dissertation by converting it into article for publication. But of course, I always encourage all my students to develop interest in research, because through research, lecturers can achieve a lot. I don't want to say can make a lot of money.
So, while we are on this,
Yes.
we are on writing research. We look at the current scenario in the world at large now.
Yes, yes.
Looking at the pandemic and the issue of the COVID-19 virus that is going on now. So, sir, we see some lecturers that have been making research on how this pandemic has drastically affects the way the industry is being managed.
Yes.
Because some people have to work from home, and why even some organizations, they have to lodge their employees in an hotel where they can work. So how do you think COVID-19 has affected the industry, sir?
A lot. The COVID-19 has affected the workplace in different ways. Since the beginning of this year, when the news of COVID-19 broke out, till now, a lot has happened in the workplace. And many workers have lost their job. And those who have not lost their job have experienced reduction in their salary. And when you check the news, you will realize that some organizations like Herpes, for instance, has fired about 70 pilots. And apart from firing 70 pilots, as reported in the news, the company has also reduced the salary of its employees, ranging from 0 to 40% of their monthly salary. And this is criminal, because employees deserve to be protected. And Nigeria has relevant laws that guarantee protection for employees. An example is Employee Compensation Act 2010. If employers study this act, they can see relevant provision which also protects both the employers and the workers. For instance, if employers are unable to pay salary, they can approach relevant government agency like National Social Insurance Trust Fund, NSITF, for support. And from the fund that is being managed by NSITF, the employers could be supported to pay employees their full salary. Okay? But I don't think employers have explored that opportunity. In advanced economy like United Kingdom, US, Germany, worker salaries are not being reduced unnecessarily the way worker salaries are being reduced in Nigeria. The government in those countries assists employers to meet up with the shortfall. Okay? And that is what we should be doing in Nigeria too. Okay? And apart from the issue of layoff and salary reduction, there are other areas where COVID-19 has affected the workplace in Nigeria. And before I go to that, I also want to mention that even some universities have laid off their staff. For instance, Bowen University laid off about 170 staff. Yeah, about 3 months ago. And before then, American University of Nigeria in northern Nigeria laid off over 400 lecturers because of the adverse effect of COVID-19. Can you imagine that? So, meaning that the workplace that used to enjoy job security is no longer protected, because you don't hear that lecturers are losing their job. It's rare for you to hear that lecturers are losing their jobs, but it has started happening now because of COVID-19. So, meaning that no workplace is exempted from the ravaging consequences of COVID-19. Then the way people work has changed. Of course, a lot of people are now working from home. Of course, that's based on government policy. It's mandatory that the companies can no longer accommodate all their employees. So based on government regulation, okay? And sincerely, this is not a good time for workers. This is a time when government needs to protect workers, because inability to protect workers can have deleterious consequences for the country at large. And the productivity of the workforce is a critical aspect of the overall development of the nation. Okay? And no government should joke with this. Workers should not be left to their fate. Workers should be protected. Workers should not lose their job. Okay? And currently, the courts are not opening the courts, because if we also have the National Industrial Court Act of 2006, which also guarantee protection, and if employees are aggrieved or if the right of employee is violated, the court is there to assist the employee in getting justice. But currently, the courts are not opening to the public for hearing. So those employees that are being affected currently cannot even go to court. They have to wait till when the court opens. You can imagine what's going to happen when the court resume public hearing. There will have been backlog of cases, or many cases will be, waiting for attention. So how effective could that be? And when will the courts be able to address all the issues that are currently being generated because of this COVID-19? So you can see that we are sitting on a time bomb. And really, this is a time when employees and citizens need to feel the impact of the government in the area of protection, especially protection of workers, especially in the private sector. The government workers are enjoying, because this salary cut is not affecting employees in the public service in Nigeria. And of course, both the public sector employees and private sector employees go to the same supermarket. Their children go to the same school. So if employees of the private sector are being affected in terms of salary cut and loss of job, and the same is not happening to employees in the public sector, you can see that the inequality is widening, and that will have a lot of negative consequences for the country at large. I think government need to seriously look into this.
Thank you very much for that answer, sir. That was really captivating and it was really enlightening. And also, we would like to say that employers in the private sector need to adopt other measures rather than laying off their employees and cutting their salaries, because this in general will have adverse effects on the economical performance of the country at large. So now, sir, on this program, sir, we call ourselves Street HR Hub, whereby we intend to bring HR to doorstep of people. We intend to discuss on some issues bordering the HR profession. And to also achieve this, we are also trying to develop an application that can house all the parties in the HR community, whereby students can interact with professionals, and professionals can also get to interact with companies in terms of research work and so on and so forth. Likewise, lecturers in the HR field can also interact with HR professionals and some other HR firms in the country and worldwide. So, how do you see that initiative? Yeah, will it be a welcome initiative whereby people will want to be on this platform, or and what would be your advice for us in order to make progress in what we want to achieve, sir?
This is a very great idea, and I'm excited. That's why when I saw your invitation, I did not think twice before accepting to participate, because I value my time a lot, and I think critically before I do anything, and I only create time for what I consider worthwhile. And this program that you are about to develop is worthwhile. And I pray that funding should not be a challenge, because the way you said it is so simple, but we need some technical and financial support to be able to implement it. So my prayer is that funding should not be a barrier against this initiative. And once you are able to ensure quality, people will embrace the program. Once they see that you have content, and your content is relevant, and the people you are bringing on board are people with proven integrity, people with exemplary credential, and people with relevant experience. Okay, so once you ensure that, I strongly believe that the program is going to succeed and it will be sustainable. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
This is very good.
I would like to say that on this, we've come to the end of this edition with a discussion with one of the renowned lecturers in University of Lagos, Department of Employment Relations and Human Resource Management, person of Dr. Akeem Akinwale. It's our pleasure to have you on our platform, sir.
Thank you.
So I would like to say to the audience that keep tuned. We'll be right back. Thank you for watching.